2 full years had passed. 2 years since the cupbearer had been restored to his position, and 2 years since he had broken his promise to remember the Hebrew slave languishing in the royal dungeon. Joseph remained in the darkness, a forgotten dreamer whose hope must have been dwindling with each passing day. But the gears of a divine plan were turning, and the stage was being set for the most dramatic reversal of fortune imaginable. It began with the Pharaoh of Egypt. He dreamed, and in his dream, he was standing by the Nile when out of the river came 7 healthy, handsome cows, and they grazed in the reeds. Then 7 other cows, ugly and thin, came up out of the river and stood by them on the bank. And the ugly, thin cows ate up the 7 handsome, healthy cows. Then Pharaoh awoke. He fell back asleep and dreamed a second time. He saw 7 ears of grain, plump and good, growing on a single stalk. And after them sprouted 7 ears, thin and blighted by the east wind. And the thin ears swallowed up the 7 plump full ears. In the morning, Pharaoh's spirit was troubled. He summoned all the magicians and wise men of Egypt, but there was no one who could interpret his dreams. The most powerful man in the world was powerless to understand the visions that haunted his mind. It was in that moment of crisis that a flicker of memory sparked in the mind of the chief cupbearer. "I remember my faults today," he said to Pharaoh. He told the story of his time in prison, of the young Hebrew slave who had correctly interpreted his dream and the dream of the baker. "What he interpreted for us, so it came to pass," the cupbearer admitted. Pharaoh did not hesitate. He sent for Joseph at once. They brought him hastily from the dungeon. He was shaved, given a change of clothes, and ushered into the presence of the king. Pharaoh looked at the former slave and said, "I have had a dream, and there is no one who can interpret it. I have heard it said of you that you can understand a dream to interpret it." Joseph's reply was one of profound humility. "It is not in me," he said. "God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer." Pharaoh recounted the 2 dreams in detail. When he had finished, Joseph spoke, not with the voice of a man, but as a vessel for a divine message. "The dreams of Pharaoh are one," he declared. "God has shown Pharaoh what he's about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dreams are one. The 7 lean and ugly cows that came up after them are 7 years, as are the 7 empty ears blighted by the east wind. They are 7 years of famine. There will come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, but after them will arise 7 years of famine, and all the plenty will be forgotten in the land. The famine will consume the land, and the plenty will be unknown because of the famine that follows, for it will be very severe." But Joseph did not stop at the interpretation. He provided a strategic plan for survival. "Let Pharaoh select a discerning and wise man and set him over the land of Egypt," he advised. "Let him appoint overseers and take 1/5 of the produce of the land during the 7 plentiful years. Let them gather all the food of these good years and store up grain under the authority of Pharaoh in the cities, so that the food may be a reserve for the land against the 7 years of famine." The plan was brilliant in its simplicity and foresight. Pharaoh and his servants were in awe. The king looked upon the young Hebrew and said to his court, "Can we find a man like this, in whom is the Spirit of God?" And to Joseph he said, "Since God has shown you all this, there is none so discerning and wise as you are. You shall be over my house, and all my people shall order themselves as you command. Only in the throne will I be greater than you." With that, Pharaoh took his signet ring from his hand and put it on Joseph's hand. He clothed him in garments of fine linen and put a gold chain about his neck. The boy who was sold for 20 shekels of silver was now the 2nd most powerful man in the world. The dreamer who was thrown into a pit for his visions was now in charge of saving a nation because of them. The years of plenty began, and Joseph, the forgotten slave, began his great work, his own dreams finally and unbelievably coming to pass.